Yeah.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
You know that ain't never happened again.
Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids?
You
Oh,
ain't get that
Paimon
yet,
wasn't
man. You
expecting
ain't get
that.
that yet.
But if Oceanids can
You know
turn
what you
into
ain't getting?
humans,
You
then
ain't get that
perhaps this process
yet.
can be reversed as well.
Oh.
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But this must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon
Ooh,
sinking
baby,
into the
give me
sea
one
surrounded
more.
by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
Stop fucking
Well, the
hitting
fourth
me.
slate is the prophecy the
Please.
Fontanians have been talking about.
Appreciate
People
it. I'll give you a
dissolving into the
lollipop.
sea,
Has
the Hydro
the
Archon
gumbo in the
crying on
middle.
her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Okay, so the real events released to the prophecies of the prophecy slates. The stone slate in the ruin showing the prophecy describes a history of the future. The first piece that was originally missing has been found by Ferdinand. It seems to show the
Ferdinand.
former Hydro Archon using divine power to turn Oceanids into people. So, okay, brain, can you work for once? So
Dream,
basically, at
dream,
this point,
dream, dream,
the true of the
dream.
real events. So you're telling me, so I'm guessing that the real Hydro Archon was literally trying to make her own people. So she used her divine power to turn Oceanids into real people to have her own Archon. You
Well, the
know, we're
game
gonna
is playing.
read the rest before we actually get into a conclusion.
Mr. George Washington.
It shows floating in the sky in the Hydra Archon and her people worship it
Artemis,
together,
Methodist.
but the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. Third slate. It shows the Hydra Archon sinking to the sea, surrounded by many other people. It shows a scene that is basically that would go with Navia.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Ah.
So this would go here.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
I'm smart. Bro, I should be a freaking attorney at this point. Okay, and he said, we're sibling. Where does it say when they were sibling? Okay, so it could either be child's conviction, the
I like to put my nuts against
That
electricity.
doesn't sound...
It wouldn't be
That's edging.
Farina sentenced to death. Wait, wouldn't this be Farina sentenced to death?
Burger King foot lettuce is the best Burger King burger.
This is making me think too much.
Can I have a Burger King burger, please? Can I have a Burger King burger?
Oh, freak. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, can I have a Burger King burger with extra tomatoes?
Yeah, you can have a Burger King burger.
Burger King burger. And
uh,
can you say something for me?
what depends on
Can
what
you
it is.
say word is bond?
Huh?
Say word is bond.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
This means word is bond.
I don't know why you want me to say that.
Because just say it. Just say word is bond. It's not
No,
bad.
you, everyone that's told me to say something, it has been something bad. So,
It's not bad.
why do I have a feeling it's something bad?
It's not. It doesn't like correlate to anything. It just means word is bond.
Where does bond?
Oh, blissful.
Uh-uh.
Oh.
I don't get it.
Uh, man, do you know? I think Twitch or YouTube. His name is Stack Whoops.
Huh?
He's a funny motherfucker, bro. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this audio? He's like, nothing much, my nigga. I just came from one of Diddy parties, son. You should have been there. There was dick and balls everywhere.
No.
Word is bond. You ain't never heard that shit?
No.
You never heard of that?
Nope.
Nah,
Um.
you just use it in a weird way.
Wouldn't. So
Have you ever been in a place where
the
you
forest type
clean?
is literally, it shows that a seed that basically, so that would correlate to.
That doesn't sound quite.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone.
Where are you at right now, Fred?
Okay, I need to figure out the third slate. No, not the third, the second slate. Um, that would only mean child's
Molestation.
child's convict.
That doesn't.
Perhaps what is about to take place
You
has all
didn't
happened
die from
before.
that?
The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
I sent my fucking beast after him, and bro was like, that's just a flesh
They'll
wound.
dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the
It is,
seawater,
but not just a
converge, and take the form of an oceanid. The Hydro Archon was
Whoa!
sentenced to death in court, shocking
Whoa!
everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the
So you
people
can
of
go flying into
Poisson
that?
in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Haha, smart ass.
Nigger.
Oh yeah, you wanted that. So I was cursing yesterday, and then my sister, Kyla cursed, and then my mom was like, language, and then Kyla was over here like, but Takai is cursing, and she's over here like, Takai is 18. I was like, and I started laughing, and my mom was like, you laughing at her? I was like, no.
Honestly, yeah. Fuck yeah. That's pretty funny as fuck.
Like, you can't out me because I'm 18. Fuck at you, nerd.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
it must
kinda
feel
gets it
real
now.
nice to be of
But
age.
then it feels like we're going to have to share some
I'm about to be
truly
more
shocking
of age next month.
revelations.
Let's hear them.
Ah! Back up.
Incredible.
Lord
Linny,
is
did you
Bond.
hear that?
Bond is
We're
weird.
not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally
He rode
created by the
dough?
late
That's
previous
crazy.
Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their base. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vache dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
What the fuck was
Yeah,
on?
and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned
Her name
around
is
and tried to
Mikael?
judge the
No,
Archon within
oh.
the opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most
It's about to be
unexpected of all.
fun.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea?
Blow your head off, nigga, or I will.
So wouldn't it be
You
trying
walking
to
up
show
on
the
Big Bird,
image of
what's
the
wrong with
Hydro
Bird?
Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Ow.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and
The
only
light
the Hydro
of a full
Archon will
moon
remain
peeks
weeping
through the
on her
clouds.
throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that
The
you
captain's
already
here.
managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins,
as fuck,
I
actually.
tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time,
I
I was
told the man
unable
the
to come to a
captain's
full
here.
conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within.
Alright, you need to fucking stop immediately, Jen. What the fuck was that?
Well?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
I didn't hit him.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately
King,
linked with the power of
would
life,
you mind coming and
the
help me fight
Hydro
this,
Archon,
Chris?
as one of the 7, did
Okay.
not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine
And I don't hit
first
him, of
came
course I
into
don't.
being.
'Cause why would I?
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard us. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was create.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate.
Yo,
The slates'
Brad,
respective positions are, in fact, correct.
would you mind come helping me, if you don't mind? Why are
A
you
key
not in my
point of the
server?
visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids.
You're a fucking
They have
addict,
not
you
been
know what?
dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of
That's why I
Fontaine is the
said
nation of
you're a
Hydro,
fucking
as
addict.
well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign,
You serious?
that
I don't hit
eruption
him?
could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
You good?
My internet sucks.
It was
It was
both
the whale.
dream
Haha, I knew
and
it.
reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
I just want an animation. Yes! You guys better start running. I get to see Novelette in action?
I got man so little.
Okay, not gonna lie, this is the one time I'm thinking child. You've never had to be lacking ever. Not child and Novelette freaking teaming up. That's kinda crazy.
What are you doing?
It's the ginger. Oh no, Chai went back in. We gotta go say child. Wait, did I just say that?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the
I just
energy
rolled
from
a
the
rubber
planet's
fruit.
primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come...
That is correct. Indeed,
Bro,
it is
this
more
story
accurate to
just
say that we
got
should thank that Harbinger for
interesting.
buying us some time.
I knew. Okay,
Without him,
actually, I
the
must
whale
cut
would
you
have
some
likely
slack.
come onto
I
land
thought I
far
loved the
sooner.
Fortress of Menipede,
From the way he looked,
but now I'm
he
starting
must
to
have been
like
fighting
it.
the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just...
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
Right?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
After everything, it turns out like this, we couldn't, what? We couldn't fight against fate. Wait, but if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
All I need to do is play my part. Wait, don't skip that. Okay, could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Farina. What she wanted to say at the last moment. Another animation? Another animation!
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
She's in her
I
delusion!
still need answers!
Novelette? I love animations. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Animations in this game just makes me want to play more.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine the animations that's gonna go down and freaking the Pyro Archon. That's the original Hydro Archon. She looks exactly like
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know.
Focalor. Why did you
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand
I'm
any
bad
chance
and
of
bougie.
deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egypt?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydro Archon alone. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her...
No, we gotta...